Okay, so hopefully this is the start of something new and exciting. I'm going to meet the perfumer Terence Hughes. He's been saying to me for a good few months now he would like to make a fragrance in collaboration with me. I kind of like the idea, but wasn't really on my radar at first. The months have gone by, I've done a perfume making day with Aaron, and it really got me a little bit more interested in putting a fragrance together. So I'm about to go meet Aaron for lunch. We're gonna get some mood boards out that I've done, we're gonna talk things through, and we're gonna get the ball rolling on this thing. Alright, so we're not really going to be directing this to the camera, but we just wanted to film and document everything and summarise everything that we're talking about the fragrance that we are going to collaborate on. And we're just going to kind of highlight things that we've been talking about over the last few weeks and talk about the fragrance and notes and things. So we're not really going to be talking to the camera, but we just wanted you to be able to kind of see. This is like the day one meeting, even though it branches back to when we first met. This is kind of day one in terms of an official meeting about the fragrance. All right, so where we're at. So you asked me to put some mood boards together. So let's start with those. So now the first mood board that I did here was, so what I wanted to do, Aaron, with a fragrance, I didn't want to just do a random fragrance that I thought was going to sell and be a crowd pleaser and make some money off it, and choose just a random mixture of notes that I enjoy. I wanted it to go a little bit deeper than that. I wanted it to be inspired by something important to me in my life. So I've chosen a memory which is very special to me, and I'm not saying that this is where the final fragrance will end up, but this is a starting point kind of for my mind. And the memory that I've chosen is a memory of my nana and granddad's house. So they're long gone now, unfortunately, but when I was a kid, we used to go around to their house. They lived opposite the school I went to, and we used to go to their house. And my granddad had a pipe, and I remember the sweet smell, not of pipe smoke, I more remember the sweet smell of tobacco in the house. And they used to make us a drink called a snowball, which is advocat mixed with lemonade. And that was kind of like a creamy eggnoggy type of drink, but lemony at the same time. So we've got the advocat there and the lemons, and there's a fire. They had a fireplace, so I was thinking like a smoky element. Patchouli, they didn't have patchouli there, but I just felt like that was maybe something that would be nice in a fragrance. Is there anything that you want to point out on there, and I can let you know why it's on there?
The crisp.
Okay, so we used to go around to their house, and the treat for us going to their house was that they would give us a bag of crisps, and it was exactly those. It was the kind of salted crisp that you added your own little sachet of salt into. Now, I didn't know if that was something that can be included in the fragrance, but I know that fragrances can have a marine-like salty accord sometimes, or we have caramel here, and they used to give us caramel sweets and Everton mints, so like a minty caramel, and sometimes salt and caramel work together. You can get a salted caramel.
And what's that?
That is oud. So I felt like their house, because they were old people's houses have that very lived in, almost musty accord, and I thought maybe oud could add a little bit of kind of a punchiness, and also the old dusty library and the old kind of balsamic, when you smell old furniture and it's the finish that they put on it has that balsamic type of smell.
So here I would say that's easy to do.
The tobacco.
This is also patchouli is so these would fantastic. These two are like interrelated, and that would be done through frankincense. So frankincense gives you an incense and myrrh That's that sort of like
the fire side, the burning type of smell.
burning.
Yeah. Would you use cade oil for that? Because I know cade oil can provide.
That's restricted. You've got to be careful. That's really restricted.
Okay.
So we would probably. I would start off with putting a So the next step would be to create the incensey sort of like background, and once we got that, is then to move on to that. I would say is like there's a bass note. So
and we should say that we have a core. So you just came up with something very quickly that you felt was me.
Yes.
That I inspired you to put together, and for the time being, we're using that as the starting point, which is kind of a woody, smooth, creamy, milky,
vanilla,
balsamic,
sandalwood.
Definitely reminds me of that.
That's how I think of you. So I think, what's that? Leather.
So yes, they used to have exactly what these hanging in their living room. So this is it's the leather strap with the gold, with the brass horseshoes on. So the leather aspect.
So
of that,
leather and frankincense go together beautifully.
Great.
And there's we're sort of that's sort of in there already. This is more of a top note. What is that?
Cardamom. Yeah.
Join the Scent Geeks every Monday as we podcast about all things fragrance. You'll find us anywhere you can usually find a podcast. Links are in the description below this video. See you there, geeks.
To me, leather, what I've done would go perfectly with a frankincense. The incense would be beautiful in this, and I think leather would be beautiful. I know the leather, there's lots of leather compounds. So actually what I think we need to do is do a leather incense accord, and then start pushing that in, and then start so the next step is to take what I've done, and then for me to do a leather incense accord, and then to increase it up into strength, so until you get the right frequency
balance
in there, because
you wouldn't want the leather and the frankincense to dominate the fragrance.
And it can easily, these are powerful notes, so we're talking, and then to lift it up. Cardamom, I don't know.
I just know a lot of fragrances that I like that lean to the gourmand often have cardamom in there.
Well, we can try.
But so it might not work with all these other.
We don't know.
Ideas,
Rum is an easy one. So rum again is a very dominant note, and I think what I'm going to do is take this, and I'm going to start putting in a rum cold for you, so you can smell this with rum, because you may hate it.
Rum or cognac.
Cognac. Have that boozy feeling, but this I think is, I know straight off.
Yeah.
That
leather and incense
is easy. I know I can do that like really easy. I could do it easy, and then I think once we've got that sort of incense, fire, wood, balsamic,
and almost kind of the musty feeling of an old library. I get that from Enigma, which I love so much, and it kind of, I don't know what it is. It's not a horrible mustiness. It's almost a cozy, comforting.
Well, that's a musk.
Smell.
It's a musk.
Okay.
That's easy to do. I nearly put that in actually. It's a rounding musk. So that is what you're feeling is that sort of round feel, and it rounds the whole thing off, but that comes right at the end. Because what musks do is you get all your notes, and then the musk sort of comes in and brings the whole thing together, and then we start bringing them. It's got some musk in. I've got a vibrating musk, and I've got a woody musk, but I want to put something in that sort of rounds and brings sort of like the feel to it. The top notes are going to be where?
So we have some citruses here. So they used to give us for a dessert like tinned clementines with evaporated milk, and I love a milky creaminess, which I think is what we already have in the core that you've put together. But I felt like, even though I wanted all these gourmand deeper notes in there, I wanted it to have an uplifting and vibrant element to the fragrance as well. I wanted it to have layers, so I thought the citrus of the mandarin and the lemon of the lemonade from the
lemon. So lemon's a really interesting one, because lemon can smell like a sweet shop. So it's a very weird one, because it changes as you put it in fragrances. So lemon can give us sort of a sweet feel. And but so the next step is to do this. I'm going with my intuition, how I make fragrances. So I get the core. We like the core. You like the core. You need to wear it. You need to tell me. I think this core is you. For me, it's tobacco. It's tobacco. It's got that balsamic, it's got that sweetness, it's got that sophistication, and it smells expensive. This doesn't smell like
a bit chocolatey.
And a bit chocolatey. So this is a really good core. So from this, the moment we start adding frankincense, I've got a beautiful frankincense at home. I've not used it before. I've smelt it and I thought, oh, maybe one day. So I think this may be the opportunity to put it out. So the next step is for me to do a frankincense leather accord, and I've got 5 different compounds which you would perceive as leather, and I need to know how hard you want to go at the leather, because there's one which is
a smooth, suede type leather rather than a sharp.
I know the one then.
Okay,
Fine.
yeah,
Okay, so I know exactly what I'm doing.
All right.
So suede, I think, suede can be perceived as like a soft leather if it's manipulated.
Yeah.
And I think maybe because frankincense is quite hard.
Yeah.
That I think I need to do. That's the next step for me. So the next
balance
step
those two things,
is to do a leather, incense, smoke, accord.
Yes. Okay.
And then the next step is to take this and then to start increase. So the next thing will be this has got 5%, 10%, 15%, 20%, and then you'll see where you want it to lie.
Yeah.
Then from that, we then start putting in exciting notes, and we sort of see, this has got a few exciting notes. Excitatory notes are things which create vibration.
Yes.
And projection.
And even though this is my mood board, if you, using your knowledge and expertise, can come up with ideas of your own to throw in there that you think might really resonate with everything else, then I'm totally receptive to that as well. So don't just feel that we only have to stick to
Have you smelt Tom Ford fragrance? I love Tom Ford. Patchouli Absolute.
Patchouli Absolute. I have, I think, a while ago, but I can't just bring it to mind right now.
Because they do, there's something called, it's a cashmere wool, a cashmere wood.
Yeah? Right.
And that is an excitatory molecule.
Yeah.
And it's used in a lot of fake oud compounds because it has that slightly Middle Eastern, and I'm thinking it works amazingly with patchouli.
Right.
I'm thinking that if I combine, do a sort of a amber, it needs this desperately needs amber. It's got no amber, and it's like you need. I love amber, and it also needs. So I think the frankincense mixing with this has got light patchouli. I may change it to a dark patchouli.
Right.
So I may alter the dark patchouli, add some frankincense, and that's the next step. So the next step is to sort out the base of it.
Yeah.
So once we've got the base and a few things, you'll start to smell it start to come alive.
Yeah.
The thing I always do with top notes last, because they're the most trickiest.
Yeah.
Because they can alter the whole thing. You put lemon in, it becomes like a sweet shop and becomes a little bit like those sweets that what they called?
Lemon sherbet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you can think, do you want that, or do you want trace of it, or then maybe? But then I think at that point, I would bring you every single top note.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way to know whether it's in there.
Which one
and I'll generally put it in the percent that top notes go in at.
Right.
And then I don't think we're far off it. I think that it needs some.
So at this stage, with this being essentially day one of the first official discussions of this fragrance, I just want to put it out there that I feel like we're going towards a spring-summer release 2020 with this. And I'm just a little bit concerned that a lot of the notes and accords we're talking about here are darker and perhaps more what you would find in a fragrance that vibes better in autumn, winter. I ideally would like to put a fragrance out there, certainly if it's coming out at that time of year, something that works all through the year. So not a summer scent, but
give me an example.
Oud wood. Tom Ford's Oud wood. So I think it's got woods, it's got depth, it's got energy, but I could wear Oud wood any time of the year. In the heat, in the cold.
With all of these notes?
Not necessarily. So that's leads me on to the next thing, which is why I did this second mood board, which was something like this one. Would that be something that it has sweetness, it has woods, like some sandalwood, some creaminess, but possibly a bit of fruitiness, but some resins to add some muscle and depth. But then, a note like fir balsam or pine that has an aromatic nature, that is a note that works winter or summer. Because in the winter, that smell kind of reminds me of Christmas trees. In the summer, it reminds me of forests on a Greek island.
I totally get. I totally. So these two would be
a separate.
No, they could be. They're separate, but they could be quite. They would be
combined.
A similar.
Yeah, because the other option was to go for, maybe elements of that, but make a more versatile year-round fragrance, and then maybe for a second fragrance, if we were to get that far, in winter 2020 or 2021, then bring out the darker, resinous, smoky frankincense tobacco fragrance at a colder time of year. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think it matters?
I think, personally speaking, this one I can get done faster.
Yeah.
Because I'm sort of pretty much there. I'm understanding this much more. This one is it's new, so I don't know. So to be very honest with you, this is for me. I need to let this sink into. I can't give you an answer because I need to let that.
This is just the day one, isn't it? So.
Yes, I need to let that sort of that perfumery brain, because this I came up with after I don't know how long, and it was obviously wrapping around in my brain, and I was like, oh, this is Chris.
Yeah.
And then now we're talking about, and this is like a few tweaks, and I'm pretty much done. And then we're talking about fun with the top notes. So it's fun. This one I don't know, and I think this one is. I understand. I would rather that we had something. I don't associate you with this.
Right.
If I'm very honest, I'm like, I don't know all the fragrances when we tested your favourites, and it's like there was a thing. I noticed there was this thing, and for your first fragrance, it might be better to push it slightly further. Yeah. And have something that you love.
Take the essence of what you think.
And I would rather, rather for your first time for you to have something which is. Yeah. So, Chris, you've got to take out the almost like this is spring. When I make a fragrance. I make a fragrance because it's like falling in love, and that you're talking to me. I didn't see any emotional connection to this. I didn't feel emotional connection. I felt, oh, this is really nice because I want a Tom Ford fragrance. But what I felt when I spoke to you, I felt that you were talking
because this came from a memory, and this came from, would this be a wiser decision to release a fragrance more like this in the summer?
Then that's the wrong decision. Yeah. Okay. Because this is probably the most personal journey. Yeah. You are creating a fragrance and saying to the world, this is who I am. Yeah. You need to stop worrying about, this is a winter, spring, summer. You need to release something which you love. So if we go in the direction of this one, the one that I'm more emotionally connected to. I think that's, all my fragrances have stories and love.
But how do you feel that, do you think we could release this as a summer release? Do you think it would be safe?
Let me ask you a question then. So, your Enigma, your most favourite one. Yeah. Do you wear that in the summer?
I would wear it less so, but yes, here in the UK, we do have days when I think Enigma would work well. Yeah.
I understand what you mean, because things like, and that's why in my range I have the very citrus, the Nerolis, and the blood orange, and for very bright. Yeah. But the ones I'm most connected to, the Onyx has, I can't tell you the story. It's a story behind it, and there's another one which I'm going to re-release, and the term releasing the sex rays, they have such emotional connections to me, but it's almost like. I would wear them because I love them, and
sure. And if I'm honest, even though we put out lists for summer, winter, autumn fragrances, I will wear what is essentially classed as more of a winter autumn fragrance. I could wear that all through the year, especially here in the UK. My concern is, in terms of putting a fragrance out there, we want it to sell, because what's the point in doing it if it doesn't sell? So I wouldn't want to put it out there at a time of year if people think, oh, the notes of that look more like something I would wear in the colder months, so maybe I'll hold off for now and not purchase it.
Let me give you another example. Aventus Creed. Yeah. Yes, it is. I consider that a summer fragrance. Yeah. But they wear it all year.
I think it's an all year round versatile, because it's got the woods in there
and loads of amber and patchouli and stuff. So I think that we could make this. I would like to see this. I don't want the top notes of what you're talking about, and we're talking right at the end. We're talking the last 2 weeks of this whole process. Right. What I'm saying to you now is we need to get the heart, the core, the story done, and then we can like take something and make it easy, very bright, by adding bergamot, by adding sweet orange, by adding blood orange, by adding lemon, by linalool, by adding, there's notes that you can add to make it very, very bright and sparkly to tone it down. But I think I'm going to direct you into, I want you to have a fragrance when you smell it, you are what I saw and what I felt.
I would love it.
That's what I want. I don't care about spring, summer. I want you to remove that from you. That's marketing. You're not. I don't care about marketing. I care about.
This is something that I would really enjoy. The Chronic that you smelled, that was sweet and woody, versatile, very crowd pleasing. I do love that type of fragrance. I love putting a fragrance on and knowing that I enjoy it, and the chances are people around me also enjoy it, rather than it being something that is too specific.
No,
that's the difficulty, isn't it? That's
what is going to separate you from all the other YouTubers, and I'm not going to do anything like that. It doesn't interest me. I'm done with. I have no interest.